Hello, everyone. My name is Clancis, and welcome to the Clancis Dumaguta podcast. So, today's podcast video, if you're watching on YouTube, has been a one that has been awaited for a very long time because you, my African American brothers and sisters, have been asking a lot in my emails on this particular question. So I thought today's video I'm going to address it. So if you have sent suggestions for my podcast and podcast video, please be patient a little bit because I have lined everything according to who came first. So of course, as you know, first come, first serve. So I will eventually get to your videos, especially those people that have been asking about business ideas, how to register a business in South Africa, and also the stability of our politics, because those questions are there as well. There are other questions that were also asked of me by South Africans to do a video and educate our brothers and sisters in the diaspora regarding their own culture and existence, I suppose. So, guys, if you were not aware, South Africa is in the thick of winter. July is right at the neck of our winter, and it has been so cold. So for the past weekend of the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th, which is yesterday on Monday, we have been experiencing snow. So in the southern hemisphere, we don't necessarily get snow. It's not a phenomena for us here in the southern hemisphere, particularly in South Africa. So when something of this nature happens, we all come out in awe and play in the snow, basically go and collect ourselves a case of flu or even pneumonia, because I heard people coughing at work today and I was like, what's happening? It's like, yeah, I've been playing in the snow the entire weekend, because it's a phenomena to us. It's something that's new. It's not like it's never fallen before. Snow has fallen before in South Africa. I remember the snow of 1996. That's the snow that made me hate winter, because originally I come from Durban. Now in Durban, winter is something that we hear from a distance, and it's not like it doesn't happen. It does happen, especially in the evenings and morning times where it's extremely cold. But during the day, we are in our slippers, our vests, bum shorts, and sandals. We don't have to worry about wearing something warm like I am right now. So it was very snowy, it was very cold over the weekend, and we woke up today, the 11th of July, being a Tuesday, and it is as if it was summer. Like, snow never happened. That's the funniest part for me, because I woke up this morning, the sky crystal blue. If you're looking at me closely right now, I am sweating bullets for reasons I don't understand, and I'm wearing this thick jacket. But I guess I'm just going to have to suck it up, because I'm not wearing anything else underneath, because I'm trying to loosen up with the clothes that I am wearing. So if you are wondering, what is this on my hand? This is a microphone. This is like a wireless microphone. It's called Ceremonic. It's one of those old microphones that give me issues as well, because they're quite cheap. So as you guys know, that I was moving and I haven't set anything yet. I don't have a background. I'm just sitting before a white wall. All of that stuff should be ready. I think by next week I would have figured it out how I want to put my studio. Okay, it's not like a studio, but it's what I consider a studio. And I hope this mic will behave, will not give an echoey sound, will also not give a static sound, because this one gives a lot of static sound, which can be very frustrating if you have a video like this one. So guys, the question that I was asked, I'm sure you already saw this in the title of the video, let me not take too long, is the best places to visit in South Africa. Basically, what are the 6 best places to visit for African Americans in South Africa? So this video is not going to be a touristy type of video, like, oh, go to Serengeti or go to the safari, go to watch whales and swim with the sharks. I don't think that's the stuff that Black people enjoy doing anyways. I think I speak as a black person, and I think this is universal to many of us. Number one, we don't like swimming with the sharks. Number two, we don't want to be anywhere near a whale, whether it's friendly or not. So to tell you to go to Hermanus and watch whales, what do you call this, doing some acrobats and things like that, I don't think this is something that I would tell you to go and check out. If you enjoy those sort of things, okay, go to Hermanus, and there you will come across whales. You'll be told by the tour guide what time of the morning you need to get up, and so you're in a great position to watch some whales. If you are a daredevil, then I will tell you to go to Cape Town, just outside of Robben Island. There you are going to swim with the sharks, literally. So that's not the type of video. I'm going to talk about places I think as a South African that you as an African American should visit and enjoy yourself to the full. Because one thing for sure, once you come to South Africa, the number one thing that you are going to notice is the love bomb. And the love bomb, by the way, guys, it is genuine. It's not like, we want them to think we like them, or we want them to, no. It's genuine. That is who we are, even amongst each other as fellow South Africans. And I think I've also told you that with other fellow brothers and sisters in the African continent that I hear, they experience love bomb. Unfortunately, some of them decided that, they can take advantage and do the things that we don't appreciate as South Africans. Anyways, let me start this podcast. Again, guys, do forgive me. I'm still going through that lung thing contracting, and then I cough. So do forgive me. I have my notes right here of everything that I'm going to say. So I'm going to start with the fact that South Africa is a conducive place for African Americans to visit because there is so many things that will look and feel familiar to you. One of the things that you are going to pick up about South Africans, especially black South Africans, is that we have so much in common, so many similarities, especially regarding our histories. Our histories are so alike, especially African Americans that come from the southern part of the United States. The similarities are uncanny. And you yourself, you will even be like, I'm still in Africa. That is how familiar you are going to be. The second point that I want to make about South Africa and African Americans is that South Africa is actually a soft spot for you to land because everything, again, will look familiar. It will look like a city you know in the United States. The infrastructure will look familiar to you. The people will look familiar and sound familiar to you. The landscape might be a little bit different, but you are going to be in awe of our landscapes that we have in South Africa. And another thing that you are going to notice about South Africans is that we do speak English, and we happen to speak English to each other as well. The reason why we speak English to each other is because South Africa has 11 official languages. However, an average South African does speak 3 to 5, sometimes even 10 languages of South Africa. I myself speak 3 South African languages. I understand 5 of the 11 official languages. So you would find that South Africans speak English, and we speak English amongst each other because we do not want to inconvenience each other by speaking our native languages to each other, and we might not understand each other, or maybe have a case of lost in translation type of thing. So we rather speak English with each other. That is another thing that you are going to notice. You will find 2 South Africans speaking English, and that might confuse you and think, but one, 2 is speaking your native languages. That's because there are 11 official languages. I'm Zulu, and if I meet a Sesotho speaking person and the Sesotho speaking person doesn't understand Zulu and I don't understand Sesotho, of course the only option that we are left with is to speak English with each other. So as an African American coming to South Africa, you are not going to struggle with the English language. You're going to understand us perfectly, and you also will communicate with us perfectly. So you are not going to struggle when it comes to that. So at the end of this podcast and podcast video on YouTube, I am also going to give you my thoughts about travel agents or travel and tourism companies that you may pay to bring you to South Africa or Africa for that matter. This thought of mine is going to be very interesting. So before I get to the nitty-gritty of this podcast, the first thing that I also want you to understand about South Africa is its weather. South Africa is in the tip of Africa, as you know or have seen on the map. We are right there at the bottom of the continent of Africa. So we are right there in the southern hemisphere. I think we are almost equal with Australia because it's 14 hours, 14 hours from Johannesburg flying to Sydney, Australia, which is like just a straight line, basically, when you are flying, or basically like a semicircle into Australia. If you are a person that believes that the earth is round, if you think the earth is flat, yeah, then it's just a straight line. So the first thing that you need to understand is our weather. We have 4 seasons in South Africa. That is spring, summer, autumn, which you guys call fall, and winter. Currently, South Africa is in the thick of winter, just as I explained earlier, that over this weekend of the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 9th, we've been experiencing a very interesting case of snow. It's been very, very cold. And it is winter. However, though, it's not just in Johannesburg where the snow was falling. It was across the country because we had this a cold front that was sweeping across the country over the weekend, and it was quite interesting. So if you are going to visit South Africa in June, July, August till about October, I would advise you to carry with you warm clothes. And by warm clothes, I'm talking similar winter clothes that you would wear in the United States during your winter, because our winters can get really, really choppy at times. So during the day, though, our winter is kind of lenient. You would see crystal blue sky with some cold breeze here and there, but at the same time it can be also warm. In the morning it gets really cold, and in the evening from like 4:30 into 5 p.m. that's when you will start feeling the cold of winter. So that is why I advise you to carry warm clothes. There are people that have this notion that Africa is hot, and they've always known that Africa is hot either from school learning learning in their geography that Africa is cold, and then they come to South Africa this time of the year and they're experiencing really, really bad cases of winter, and because their luggage was nothing but summer clothes or clothes that they wear during summer, and then they struggle, and then they don't enjoy their trip, and then they create YouTube videos and say, oh my goodness, I regretted going to South Africa in June, July because it was so cold. I thought it was hot. So if you are planning a trip to South Africa till about October, bring warm clothes because it can get really, really cold in the evenings, and it can get really, really cold in the mornings, maybe from 11 a.m. to about 3:30 p.m. That is when it's a little bit warm. But other than that, our winters are not as harsh as you think. Our summer can be very, very hot. It could be exactly what you probably have learned about Africa being hot. So our summer can be very, very, very hot. And of course, our summer starts in December. This is where South Africans become loose. Basically, December becomes a vibe, not a month. It becomes an event, not a month or a season. Whatever you guys call December in your country, that's not what we call it here in South Africa. And when you are here or you've been here, you understand why. So I beg you, do throw in warm clothes in your luggage as you visit South Africa during this time of the year to about October. Maybe you can push it up to November as well, because sometimes the residues of winter does pop out of the blue, and you'll be like, is it November? What's happening? Our spring starts on the 1st of September, though. However, if you do intend on traveling to KwaZulu-Natal, also known as the Kingdom of the Zulus, also known as KZN, you guys will say KZN. We call this the Z, we call it Z here in South Africa. So there, if you go to the city of Durban, the city of Durban is protected by what you call a heat island. A heat island, it is where the Indian Ocean is basically emitting hot air because of the heat that it has been storing from summer. In winter, it releases it, and then it creates what you call a heat island. And as a result of that, the city of Durban becomes the warmest city in South Africa during winter. If you go into the Indian Ocean, it feels as if you are in a jacuzzi. It is warm, it's comfortable, and you will enjoy your swimming. And at the same time, the people of Durban, they are not wearing warm clothes like the rest of us in the country. They are wearing shorts, they are wearing sandals, they are wearing vests, and they are swimming in the ocean and having the time of their lives, while the rest of us are sitting in front of heaters and trying to keep warm, drinking coffee, hot chocolate, and things like that. So if you are planning on going to Durban, yes, do carry some warm clothes, because during the evening it gets really, really cold as well. But during the day, it is summer. That is why I would say Durban experiences 4 seasons throughout the year. That is summer, 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 and summer. That is Durban for you. If you don't know what a heat island is, I suggest that you befriend Google. It will show you what a heat island is, and then you will understand the city of Durban. So if you're appreciating this podcast, and if you're watching on YouTube, you are appreciating the podcast video, please give this video a thumbs up. I will highly appreciate that, because it's going to help this channel to grow. On Friday, it's my birthday, the 14th of July. I thought by then we would have gotten to 1,000 subscribers, but clearly, if I'm doing the math, I don't think it's going to be possible, but there's no pressure at all. Anyways, let's continue with the video. Please give this video a thumbs up one more time if you have not yet. So let's get to the 6 best places to visit as an African American coming to South Africa. And there's a reason why I'm starting with this one, because I want you to see God showing off the city of Cape Town. I feel like for African Americans, it's important that when you arrive in South Africa, I'm not sure where you're going to land, whether you land at OR Tambo International Airport in Johannesburg, or King Shaka International Airport in Durban, or Cape Town International Airport in Cape Town. I would so love that whenever you take a trip to South Africa, that it lands you in Cape Town, so that you get to see the almightiness of God. You will see God showing off on the African continent. That is exactly the city of Cape Town. In the backdrop, you are going to see Table Mountain. If you look in front of the city, you will see a crystal blue Atlantic Ocean, which is very, very, very cold, and it's very cold throughout the year. It doesn't matter whether it's summer or winter. It doesn't behave like the Indian Ocean in Durban, where it gives off heat. It is quite cold. However, though, the scenery is beautiful. You will appreciate the city of Cape Town and its surroundings, and you're going to appreciate so many things that will actually surprise you, like, oh, is this even possible in Africa? That is the city of Cape Town. I want you to go there and wash your eyes with the beauty of Cape Town. The people of Cape Town are diverse. You will find the people that are called here in South Africa colored people. Colored people in South Africa is not a derogatory word. It is a description or an identification of a people. These are mixed race people, either a mixed race of white and black, or black and Indian, or black and Hispanic, those sort of stuff. We call them coloreds. and some of them are Khoisans. These are the original people of South Africa. Unfortunately, the apartheid government classified them as colored people, which is something I think is a crime against humanity. I think at some point they also have to fight for their identity and go back to being known as the Khoisan people. Anyways, we are not there. The city of Cape Town will also show you two different sides, sometimes even three different sides. In fact, to show you about four different sides. The first side that is going to show you is the opulence, the luxury, the wealth, the money, stuff that it will make your jaw drop. And some of the richest people in the world, including people in the US, yes, even black celebrities from the United States, have houses in Cape Town. So those are the things that you are going to witness there. And the second difference, that you're going to see, is poverty. The total opposite of the opulence you are going to see. You see abject poverty, people living in corrugated iron houses, people not having good sanitation, and living basically in squalors. And just when you drive down from the squatter camps, you are going to come across beautiful, lush lands of winery and vineyards, and surrounded by beautiful mountains. You would just be in awe. And then the fourth difference is a touristy type of feel, or maybe even farming. Let me just put it that way. Even farming, you will see of citrus, all kinds of citrus, whether it's oranges or we call them nachis. I'm not sure what you call them. Tangerines. I think you guys call them tangerines. Those are planted in the outside of Cape Town, or the Western Cape, which is a province of South Africa. Those are the things that you are going to experience. And if you are into wine, then trust and believe me, you would like to drive down to Stellenbosch or the Winelands. And the first thing you're going to see there is majestic mountains just glaring at you. And then the next thing that is just probably going to make you almost cry is the scenery of vineyards and the landscape. Absolutely beautiful. And there you are going to taste. Before tasting, you are going to see world's famous wines being made, and then you'll be given to taste them, and you're going to have some great lunch or dinner or whatever the case might be. And another thing that you're also going to see there is the evidence of the colonialists that settled here in South Africa, like the Dutch, like the Dutch architecture, those homes that you are going to see there. We no longer see them as that. These days, we see them as a means of contributing into our GDP, because they've turned some of those homes into hotels, Airbnbs, wine houses, and things like that, which contribute positively into the economy of South Africa, also providing jobs for South Africans. To me, the city of Cape Town will remind you, as an African American that's coming from the West Coast, somewhat San Diego. I think San Diego would be the perfect description of the feel and look of Cape Town. So again, when you reach Cape Town, it is something that you are going to feel a similarity or a familiarity about it. And another thing that you might see as well while you are in the city of Cape Town in the mornings, you are going to see on the Table Mountain, a tablecloth of fog just draping down the mountain, looking absolutely majestic. And if you are on top of Table Mountain and looking down into the city of Cape Town, your breath will be taken away. You have a cable car, if you are not afraid of heights, that is going to transport you from mainland all the way up to the mountain and back down. If you are a person that is a camper, you enjoy hiking, then you can hike all the way up into Table Mountain, something that I don't think it's a black thing to do. I'm not saying all black people don't hike, but I would not say, hey, fellow black person, start hiking Table Mountain. No, I would say rather take a cable car all the way up to the mountain. And this trip only happens when the weather is good, because winds on top of the mountain can get really, really gusty. By gusty, I mean it will literally blow you away. So to be careful, they will tell you, okay, the weather is good to go up to the Table Mountain. Once you are up there, you can take all kinds of pictures and just be in awe of the city. So that's the first thing that I think I would like you to experience when you arrive in South Africa. It's still okay if it's going to be the last thing that you see or something you see in between. The reason why I also want you to start there is because there's a tendency of, as I've seen from African Americans, having to compare the city of Cape Town and the city of Johannesburg, and then they come up with a conclusion as to where they feel most comfortable. If you go to Cape Town, you are going to meet a lot of white people. And some of these many white people you're going to meet, they are not all South Africans. Some of them are Americans. And I bet when you hop onto a plane, either from Atlanta or from Newark or from, is it New Jersey? Newark, New Jersey, or from Washington, D.C. coming to South Africa, the plane will be filled with non-melanated people. Some of those people are going straight to Cape Town, to their homes right there, and they are Americans. So you are going to see a lot of white people there. Once you also met with the colored people, yes, there are black people that you are going to meet in Cape Town. Yeah, so it's a very nice, diverse city that I would like you to experience when you come here. Of course, like in any other city, you do not carry valuables with you. Do not carry fancy phones, fancy cameras, and wearing jewelry. Don't do that. Be smart so that you don't find yourself in an unpleasant experience, because you will find those in Cape Town as well, unfortunately. But I believe that the security in Cape Town has been boosted, and I have not heard any incidences of crime for a very long time in the city of Cape Town like it used to be in the past. If there's any, then those people are really taking a chance there. So the second place that I would like you to visit as an African American when you visit South Africa is the province called the Eastern Cape. When you go to the Eastern Cape, which is in the eastern part of South Africa, it's a coastal area, breathtaking. The first thing that's probably going to take away your breath if you're a male who is single and unmarried is the beautiful women, the Xhosa people you are going to meet in the Eastern Cape. That is their native land. The ladies are beautiful, extremely beautiful, I must say. And they males, they carry themselves with their heads held up high. Some people can accuse them of being pompous and arrogant, but in fact, they're just proud of themselves, proud of their language, and proud of their existence. And so they tend to come out very strong at you. Please do not read too much into it, because they are very, very friendly themselves. They are like any South African, and you are going to enjoy their company. This is the nation that produced two presidents. One of them is Nelson Mandela. He comes from the Eastern Cape. The Eastern Cape boasts of beautiful sceneries as well. You will also come across a elephant haven called Edo. There, as an African American, I feel like, because I'm Zulu, and I think most black people associates themselves with elephants. So to us, a Zulu queen is called Indlovukazi, which means a female elephant. So that's how majestic we feel about our Zulu queen, elephant. So I would say do visit this elephant haven. I think you'll be able to tour around in like this safari cars or trucks and get to see these elephants. I think some parts you'll be able to interact with the elephants. I think that's probably the only thing that I would suggest you do when it comes to safari. Okay, maybe not the only thing, because we're still going to go somewhere where I would say, please do that safari. So there you would basically be in awe of those amazing great giants. And also you are going to come across the beautiful city of Gqeberha, formerly known as Port Elizabeth. The beaches there are incredible, the hotels exquisite, the catering, and the services there will just melt your heart, and the people, you will fall in love with them. If you drive along the roads of Eastern Cape, you are just going to see beautiful landscapes, from flatland, mountains, hills. You are going to also come across villages. Like, I'm talking old-fashioned villages. When we talk of village, the place of Eastern Cape, you will find those villages beautiful, and the people, and the Xhosa people, like to paint their village houses in different colors. You will come across oranges and yellows and blues and whites and blacks, and beautiful. You are just going to enjoy traveling on a road trip in the province of the Free State. I can tell you that because I've been through that drive before, and I'm always left in awe. And the people there are incredible. Like I said, the women, if you are single male, they are very beautiful. If you're a single woman, I'm sure the men there are also as gorgeous as the women are. Well, I wouldn't know. So like I said, the Eastern Cape, you will come across the Xhosa people. These are the people whose language, the click sound, you will hear the most. They're pretty much like the Zulus because they come from the same ethnic group as the Zulus, the Ndebeles, the Swatis, and then the Xhosas. So we're pretty much similar in make, in kind, as well as our hearts. And just to prove my point about the beauty of the women in the Eastern Cape, the former Miss Universe 2019-2020 comes from the Eastern Cape. So I think I have proven my point there about the women there. So when you are in the Eastern Cape, the people are going to be the greatest assets that you are going to enjoy because they will welcome you. You are going to feel at home. The third place that I would love to see African Americans visit in droves is the city of Durban. I did speak about the city of Durban just briefly. This is my home city. I was born just outside of the city of Durban. I grew up there, and I can speak about my city even in my sleep. Now, one thing that you are going to notice about the city of Durban as an African American is that it's going to give you a feel of Miami. Something about it is very Miami-ish, and or maybe something like probably even Chicago at some, if you can, I don't know, Chicago feel as well, it will give you that. And it's gorgeous, it's beautiful, it's a coastal city in the eastern part of South Africa, and it is, it's surrounded by the Indian Ocean, of course. As I've said earlier on, that in winter, the Indian Ocean gives off a heat island in Durban, protecting the city from winter. It feels like summer during winter in Durban. So this is something that I would also like you to experience, that heat island while everybody else is crying about cold. And then you are in the city of Durban, you're like, what are you talking about? So the city of Durban is in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, aka the Zulu Kingdom, aka KZN or KZN. So I would like to speak more about the entire KZN, but KZN is way too big for me to even suggest other places. So I'm just going to reduce it to the city of Durban because the city of Durban has an airport, an international airport. You don't have to travel hours and hours and hours to get to another part of KwaZulu Natal. But if you feel like if you have time, maybe you have something like 2 weeks in Durban, I think you can complete the entire province, starting from the northern of KZN, where it's very rural. Even though those rural areas are being developed, you will come across a new city of Richards Bay, which is continuously being developed. You are going to come across Mpangeni, you're going to come across Stanger, Tongat, and all these places where King Shaka Zulu basically was his playground. I think his tomb is somewhere in Stanger. I think you will come across it if you want to visit his gravesite in KwaZulu Natal, which is like an hour outside of the city of Durban. That is where you'll find his tombstone, or his tomb for that matter. So if you want to do those sort of tours, then yeah, sure, you can. But I think the city of Durban will give you a variety of things to do. Now, this is what I want you to do when you get to Durban. I don't want you to only focus on staying in the city. I want you to experience the Zulu people in Durban by going into the townships. Go to the township of Umlazi. Go to the township of Kwamashu. Go to the township of Inanda. Go to the township of Hammersdale, where I come from. Go to the township as far as Pietermaritzburg, Mbali. Go to those townships and experience the Zulu people in their full might. Let me tell you something. At first, they're going to be standoffish because Zulu people are very proud of the Zulu language and they expect every black person, irrespective of where you come from, to know how to speak Zulu. Yeah, but those are the people that are a little bit older in age. But the millennials, the Gen Zs, and the late Generation X, they understand because come on, South Africa was only open to the world about 29 years ago. So Zulu people always believed that we were the only people existed during the days of apartheid. We didn't know that there were other places outside of KwaZulu Natal, and therefore when you come speaking a different language, the Zulu person will be like, how come you're speaking to me in that language? Why don't you speak isiZulu? This is Zululand, you need to speak Zulu. But immediately they realize that you are not of KwaZulu Natal, then you will see they will open up to you, and they will also try to teach you isiZulu. It's very important that you open your mind to that possibility of learning. Volunteer even to be taught how to speak Zulu. Zulu people would embrace you with everything they've got when you show an interest in the Zulu language. So if you reject the Zulu language, when you say no, trust and believe me, you'll be out of there as if you were a bullet out of a chamber, because you're the one who's going to eject yourself out of KwaZulu Natal. So don't reject the language. Don't reject when they try to teach you some Zulu words. Sometimes it's not going to be forced. Trust me, they're not going to expect you to learn Zulu as a whole. There will be few phrases they're going to want you to know. Maybe how to call meat inyama. They'll say inyama. And then, of course, you will say it back. And probably that will be the end. So it's not going to be like a whole lesson on isiZulu. So just be open to that. Don't feel like you are being treated rudely when you see them trying to speak isiZulu while you're trying to speak English with them. They will do it for a second, maybe a minute, And then after that, they'll start smiling and say, okay, fine, I understand you're not Zulu. And then they'll start speaking English with you. So those are the Zulu people. Zulu people are still quite stubborn when it comes to the language and the culture. I think I did mention that in my cultural video, that Zulus are probably, I'm not saying it's just them, probably the only tribe in South Africa that still follows the Zulu culture, and they have not abandoned it for other religions. So that's how headstrong the tribe is. But anyways, the point that I'm trying to make is that don't spend a lot of your time in the touristy areas of KwaZulu, of Durban. Rather go into the township, be where the people are, because when you are where the people are, you are going to have the time of your life, and this is how you are going to understand the people of South Africa as a whole. And this is not something that you need to do only in Durban. I want you to do the same thing when you are in Cape Town. I want you to do the same thing when you are in Johannesburg. I want you to do the same thing when you are in Limpopo or in the Free State or Northern Cape. Go where the natives are. That is where you are going to have an experience of your life, an experience that you will never ever forget. Of course, do not do so without being cautious as well. Go with people that you trust or you can trust into these areas. Another thing that I also would like for you to do is spend a night in a township. There are Airbnbs in townships in South Africa. Spend a night rather than going to your hotel in the city. Spend a night in the township and experience how it's like to sleep in the township. Trust and believe me, the experience, it's exhilarating because there's all kinds of activities that are taking place inside the township. The Black people in South Africa have decided to bring the economy to them rather than them going outside of the township. That's where you will find hangout spots like taverns and bars and clubs and places to eat, like street food and restaurants. You will find all kinds of things in the township that you are going to enjoy. And while you are enjoying these things, you'll be surrounded by South Africans. Depending wherever you are going to go. In this case, I said the city of Durban. You are going to be sitting and surrounded by Zulu people that are going to be welcoming you and making sure that you are comfortable and you feel at home. The other thing that you are also going to notice about the people of KwaZulu-Natal is their beauty. The women are beautiful. However, the standard of beauty in KwaZulu-Natal is different. I think it's categorized in like 3 different areas. There is the modern area, which is African American influenced or Eurocentric influence, and you are going to find Zulu standard beauty. Now, a Zulu standard beauty, let's talk of a woman. If a woman does not have hips, does not have thick legs, and does not have a big behind, that woman is not considered beautiful. And beauty in the Zulu culture, it also includes the ability to carry children. Not only carry a child in your womb, but also carry a child physically. I'm sure you have seen some videos of African people carrying something on their heads while they have a baby in the back and probably holding another one with one arm. This is what I'm talking about. So if you are big and round and have a big behind and hips and thick legs, you are a wife material to a man, to a Zulu man who will take you home. Because the first thing that your mother-in-law is going to look at is your build. How are you built? If you are on the slim side of things, you are going to do well with love in the city of Durban, because there it is more modern and more open-minded and also more African American influence or Eurocentric influence. So the city of Durban, like I said, it is, I wouldn't say there's no culture. I would say things are kind of like relaxed there, versus when you go outside of the city of Durban. I think the third standard of beauty for Zulu people is a natural woman, meaning like naturally looking, no makeup, nothing that she does to her body to enhance her beauty. Sometimes a Zulu man appreciates a woman that is pure, that he can see her authenticity, her true self, that when he wakes up in the morning, he does not see a different person he went to bed with the previous night. So most Zulu girls, when you go to this province, KwaZulu Natal, you might actually not find them wearing makeup, lipstick, and things like that, because they want to show themselves off to men who appreciate their type of beauty. So beauty plays a pivotal role in the Zulu people, and for us also, we don't look at, oh, there's no such a thing as ugliness in the Zulu culture. As long as you have a certain body type, especially a body type that can carry children, as the old Zulus would say, they don't care how you look on the face. Absolutely couldn't care less. As long as you have the ability to carry children, they are fine with you. So those are the other things that you are going to see in the city of Durban or in KwaZulu Natal if you ever visit the province as a whole. The other thing that I want you to do when you get to the city of Durban is to gate crash a wedding or a funeral or a traditional do, or you can do them all in one day. But I don't think you are going to manage to leave the wedding, because the moment they realize that they have a visitor coming from the US, you are going to be given a spot to sit and treated like a VIP. If it's a funeral, probably the same thing is going to happen. If it's a traditional do, something of that nature also is going to happen. Remember what I said in my previous video, what you are offered. If you don't particularly, or it doesn't particularly look attractive to you, don't reject it. Don't show face. Like, once you do that, you are rejecting Zulu people and they will reject you back. So it's best to have a smile on your face, pretend as if you are drinking, especially umqombothi, that is African beer. I don't particularly like it because I don't like sour things. It's fermented beer, basically. You can just pretend to be drinking, have the bubbles on your lip, and then pass on the calabash cup or whatever it is they're going to serve you with to the next person. When they eat, you are not going. Don't expect to be given a plate of food. It's going to be, like I said, in this platter. Everybody kneels down and start eating from that platter. So those are the experiences that I want you to experience when you come to this particular city of Durban. I know I'm spending a lot of time here because I know this city. I know what you are going to get when you go there. So please, also, like I said, try to spend the night there. Try to spend a night in the township. You know, how many townships are there? There are a number of townships that are there. Umlazi is probably the perfect one to spend a night over. So, like I said, you are going to be treated like a king or like a queen when you visit the province of KwaZulu-Natal, particularly the city of Durban. So just have an open mind that anything can happen. And when I say anything can happen, I'm talking on the positive side of things. You are going to live there with a lot of friends, that's for sure. A lot of friends you are going to live with. You're going to live with a lot of phone numbers and things like that. And you are going to be called almost every day just to find out how you're doing when you're coming back. So Durban nightlife, it is beautiful. You will enjoy yourself. Another thing that you are also going to notice about the city of Durban is that it's very, very slow. It's relaxed. As a matter of fact, this is where the people of South Africa that live in busy cities go to relax. Because that's how slow it is. Like I said, it's got all the wonderful amenities that you are going to search for when you visit the city of Durban. In December, Durban becomes the playground for South Africans. I would even give you a challenge after watching this video on YouTube to go into YouTube and search Durban in December. You will see, probably you'll be shocked. Sometimes it feels like every South African has gone down to Durban. That's how incredible the city of Durban is during December. So I don't go to Durban in December for that very reason. The only time I go to Durban for a holiday is about a month after the December holiday. So around Valentine's Day, the 20th or something like that of February, because that time everything is quiet. Everybody has gone back to work, school, and whatever else that had brought them to Durban. So yeah, just Google that or go to YouTube and type city of Durban in December, and you are going to see incredible scenes there. So you can imagine, if people of South Africa go to Durban for a holiday, how that experience is going to be for you as an African American. And if you have a business in Durban during December, you'll be smiling all the way to the bank in January, because I think Durban makes about 10 to 15 billion rand in that 1 month. So that is a lot of money. If you have an Airbnb, then yeah, you're going to have a time of your life. Another thing as well that you probably should do immediately after watching this video on YouTube is hop on your laptop and start booking, because the accommodation in Durban in December is almost non-existent. They're all taken. Usually South Africans, they book a year before December. So go and find whatever is left of the accommodation for December in Durban. And another thing that I also want you to do while you are in Durban, after you've visited the townships and after you've visited the shanty towns as well, also take a drive or a look in the luxurious parts of Durban, like Mpumalanga, Balito, La Lucia, and places of that nature. You can even go towards the west, where you're going to come across Hillcrest and Pinetown and all these other amazing places. And also in the city of Durban, you are going to come across townships that were designated for Indian people. These are descendants of India that live in Durban. And also you will come across townships of colored people as well in Wentworth, if you also want to go and experience a good time. You can go to these places too. So Durban is, I know I'm over advertising it, but again, it is something that is going to give you so much pleasure, because it is a pleasure town. So that is that about Durban. Let's move on to the province of Mpumalanga. Now, Mpumalanga, you are going to come across two tribes. These are the Swati people. The Swati people are the descendants of people that come from the country of Eswatini, formerly known as Swaziland, which is not... I still consider Swaziland to be inside South Africa, just like Lesotho is in the belly of South Africa. So that's where they come from. You will find those people. Yes, they are South Africans. And the second tribe you're going to find there is the Ndebele people. The Ndebele people are known to be the best fine artists in the people of South Africa. Basically, they make beautiful patterns with paints and art and things like that. Not only you are going to meet the beautiful people of Mpumalanga province, but you're also going to meet the beautiful landscape, the Three Sisters, God's Window. You will meet amazing scenery that might even make you cry if you're a crybaby like me. So the people of Mpumalanga, I think they are very, very friendly, if not overly friendly, but at the same time, they are very into themselves. They're quiet. They're probably the quietest people. I know whenever somebody says count all the provinces of South Africa, there's always that one province that I forget to mention, which is Mpumalanga. And the reason why is because people in Mpumalanga are so quiet. You never hear anything coming out of Mpumalanga, yet you would hear on the news that this province has done this and that province has done this, and whether good or bad. And you don't hear much about Mpumalanga simply because the people of Mpumalanga are very, very, very peaceful, very friendly, beautiful, and you would thoroughly enjoy yourself in that province. It's still pretty much rural, but at the same time very touristy at the same time, and you are going to enjoy yourself. And the province of Mpumalanga also has the Kruger National Park. If you know anything about Kruger National Park, this is the part where I was saying that I will encourage you to take a trip on a safari in Kruger National Park. I know it's not a black thing to do per se, because I can tell you as a black person living in South Africa, I've never been there. True, I have never been to a safari before. I've been to a zoo, but I've never been to a safari. That's because it's something that as black people here in South Africa, we don't think about it. It's like, why should I go and watch animals? Do what? No. So we don't go there. So I would not want to recommend something that I myself don't do. However, I think for an experience, it's something that you should do. For an experience, do it. But if it's something that is not of a priority for you, then that's okay. I would rather you spend time with the people and get a great experience with the people than animals. But please do go for a safari for experience and pictures and for your Instagram and whatever else that you might want to show the world. So as an African American, I think you are going to enjoy Mpumalanga. The sixth and final place that I would like you to visit, but I think this one is an obvious one because probably your trip is going to either start there or end there, or start and end there. And that is the city of Johannesburg. Now, Johannesburg, the first thing that you are going to experience when you land at OR Tambo International Airport is familiarity. It feels, looks, and probably speaks like the city of New York. So in a nutshell, Johannesburg is like the city of New York. If it's not the city of New York, then Atlanta. I would go as far as saying Atlanta. That is the city of Johannesburg. But it also has a mixture of familiarity to some people that might be coming from the Midwest of the United States. I would even say there are some parts that might look and feel like Detroit, that also may look and feel like Washington, D.C. as well. You must also understand that the city of Johannesburg is situated in the province of Gauteng, which means a place of gold. As you know, Johannesburg was where gold was discovered, and we basically had the cities built on mines. In case you didn't know, the city of Johannesburg is built on mines. And also in the province of Gauteng, you are going to meet the administrative capital of South Africa called Pretoria. And what else that is in Gauteng that I think you might also want to go there? Yeah, I think the two major cities is Johannesburg or Sandton, as well as Pretoria. Now, Sandton is just an extension of the city of Johannesburg. The city of Johannesburg, by the way, it's starting to kind of like be run down, and so they're building a new city out of Sandton City, which is like the brand new city of Johannesburg. This is where the opulence you are going to see. It's also known as the richest square mile in Africa. This is where you'll find your billionaires, your millionaires, your multi-millionaires, and everybody that is trying to hustle to get a spot in Sandton. Everybody in South Africa that is working really, really hard they want to end up either having offices in Sandton or working in Sandton or living in Sandton. So those are the things that you will find in Johannesburg. But the common denominator when you are in Johannesburg is that it's a business hub. It's Africa's business hub. This is where everybody is just talking business, 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 business. Everything is about business. Even when you are hanging out, having a party, somebody will slip in a business topic. It's either you would like or hate Johannesburg. I think that's the best way I can put it. It's very fast paced because it's a business district, and you will feel that as well. It's also very luxurious at the same time, very homey. It's got so many contrasts, this city, and it's also a melting pot because it's a city where almost everybody from within South Africa, Southern Africa, East Africa, Central Africa, West Africa, Northern Africa, you will find everybody down here in Johannesburg, all looking for greener pastures. Others already found their pot of gold. Others are still busy digging for their pot of gold. Others gave up because they just could not proceed. So that is why you are going to see a lot of contrasts in the city of Johannesburg, almost like in the city of Cape Town. You are going to see extreme opulence, people driving Lamborghinis, Ferraris, McLarens, to people basically walking to work and in the rain, in the cold. Others living in corrugated iron houses. Others are just struggling to make ends meet, while others are literally just bawling. So that is why I'm saying it's either you would like or hate the city of Johannesburg. And also, let me not forget to mention that the city of Johannesburg has a lot of white Americans, thriving multi-millionaires and multi-billionaires all live here in Johannesburg. Others coming from the Middle Eastern countries, others coming from Australia, others coming from all over Europe. You will find them here in South Africa. Russians. I think we also are starting to have an influx of South Americans coming into the country as well, which is quite interesting for me. I have never met a Mexican before, but now I'm beginning to meet Mexicans, Brazilians, Argentinians, people from Peru. So sooner or later, we're going to start having a section of South Africa speaking Spanish, which I find that very interesting. So, like I said, Johannesburg is situated in the province of Gauteng, and the province of Gauteng is surrounded by the Free State, Northwest, and Limpopo. I think also Mpumalanga. It's a tiny little province, but it's carrying a lot of responsibilities. So the other thing that I also want to say is that not everybody you are going to meet in Johannesburg is a South African. I think you're going to find it a little bit difficult to meet a lot of South Africans. But my tip is, if you want to know that you've met a South African, the first thing that you are going to notice is a South African will never ask you for a tip for anything. Because South Africans are brought up not to ask, instead to give. So if somebody asks you for tip, you must know that you did not come across a South African. Just know that, because we are not people that ask. We are terrified of asking. I think I have said this previously, and probably you also experienced it yourself when I opened a PayPal, how I was terrified to ask for donations. So that's one of the things that you are going to come across, whether it's an Uber driver, a Bolt driver, or your tour guide. These days, our tour guides in South Africa actually are not South Africans. There are people that come from either Zimbabwe or somewhere in the southern of Africa. So those are the things that you are going to come across. when you come to Johannesburg. However, though, if you want to meet South Africans, and I'm talking South Africans, the township of Soweto, forget about the touristy part once again, because yes, you should go to the tourist part and learn about history, learn about Nelson Mandela's house and Desmond Tutu's house, being the two Nobel Peace Prize winners that lived on the same street. You can go to the Apartheid Museum. You can go to Hector Peterson's grave site or memorial site. You can go, where else do they take tourists? In Soweto. You can go to all those places. I don't have an issue with that, because you would also like to learn some of our history and also compare that history with your own history, and you will see that these two histories are very similar with each other: Jim Crow and apartheid. But for fun, for relaxation, for integration, go where the South Africans are at. Go hang out with South Africans in Soweto. That is where you are going to have a time of your life. You will fall in love with people of Soweto. And Soweto is now become almost like a city on its own, because the people of Soweto really built the township to what it is today, and you are going to enjoy, probably even witness some of other things that they are continuously building there in Soweto. It's pure black people there. Yes, you will see white people, but they are coming there as tourists. But again, once you are in Soweto, I would like you to experience a night in Soweto, like sleep over in Soweto. There are Airbnbs in Soweto. There are hotels as well that I've seen in Soweto. So at some point, when you come to South Africa someday, you might book yourself a hotel in Soweto instead of Sandton, Fourways, or wherever people go and stay when they come here to South Africa, or particularly to Johannesburg. So at some point, that economy is going to go to the people of Soweto, because they create jobs for South Africans there, and things of that nature. So hang out with people of Soweto when you get to South Africa, particularly in Johannesburg. There are nightlife there. There is malls there. There's everything that you're going to need. It's there in Soweto. So do yourself that favor and mingle with the people of South Africa in Soweto. Oh, by the way, I don't mean that just hang out with South Africans. Like I said, there are all kinds of people from Africa. You can hang out with Nigerians if you want to. You can hang out with Cameroonians if you want to. You can hang out with Ghanaians, whom I love very much. If you want to, you can hang out with Tanzanians. It doesn't matter. But because I'm a South African, I speak for South Africa. That is why I'm saying hang out with South Africans. So I don't want anybody thinking that I'm saying don't hang out with any other nationality. Please don't misread me that way. No ways I'm saying that. As a matter of fact, hang out with whomever you want to hang out with. But if you want to have a South African experience, then South Africans are going to show you a South African experience. That is what I'm trying to say. And also, I'm not saying that only hang out with black people, black South Africans. You can hang out with white South Africans. There are a lot of white South Africans that would treat you like a human being. There are a lot of white people that are not racist in South Africa, and they will not treat you any different than they would if their fellow white person. They would treat you with respect. They would treat you with love. They will welcome you, and they even welcome you into their own homes. So that also includes Indian people. That will also include colored people. So it's not just black people. I'm black. That is why I feel more comfortable talking about my skin color people rather than speaking for other people, because I think it is their responsibility to also showcase themselves to you, our African American brothers and sisters coming to South Africa. So I'm not saying just black people. I'm saying you can mix masala as all you want, but you will still get a South African experience either way. So again, so as I was saying, that if you go to Soweto, chances are you may never want to leave Soweto. You might even want to buy land and build a house and be part and parcel of Soweto community. That's how incredible Soweto can be. Even for myself, who has not been there in a very long time. And the first time that I went to Soweto was after years. And this is when I was invited by my African American friends. Can you imagine? I became a tourist in my own country because of my African American friends that are living here in South Africa. And I'm sure if they're watching this video, they are laughing their lungs out. You will see them laughing in the comment section. When you just see laughing emojis, just know I'm talking about them. They've turned me into a tourist. There are places that I've been to with them, and when I look and I'm like, this was not here before. What is this? And they'll tell me, oh, this is what. I'm like, okay. Yeah, that's because as you guys know, I'm a loner. I'm always by myself. I live alone. I do everything by myself. And now that they've come, they have opened my shell forcefully. Of course, the nice way. And I love hanging out with them. I love them very much as human beings as well. So I have not hung out with them in a minute. And I keep giving excuses. Of course, my work really does keep me busy. But sooner or later, my diary is going to clear, and then we are going to hit the streets of Soweto. We're going to hit the streets of Fourways. We're going to hit the streets of Sandton. We're going to hit the streets of wherever it is that we go to and have a wonderful time. There are more African Americans that arrived lately that have asked me to come and have dinner with them or hang out with them, and I'm loving it. I'm loving you guys so much. I don't know if you understand when I say this. I am really, really loving you guys so much. I wish all of you would just come and just be one with us. Be at home, because this is home. You may not come from us, but Africa, because South Africa is part of Africa, this is your soil. I'm telling you guys, this is your soil. I think now my legs are starting to get pins and needles because I'm sitting on the floor. I think I'm about to be done anyways. Okay, so I had a change of scenery for a second because my legs were killing me with pins and needles because I was sitting on the floor. So my last point in this podcast is what I introduced earlier in this video, that I am going to give you my thoughts about travel and tourism companies and travel agencies that many travelers use when they come to South Africa or Africa for that matter. So I have a point of view about these travel and tourism companies and travel agencies that you pay for a package to come to South Africa. Believe it or not, I support them 100%. And I'll tell you why I support them 100% is because as a first-time traveler to South Africa or a first-time traveler to Africa, you are going to need some guidance. And most of the time, these travel and tourism companies, especially the travel and tourism companies that you would find in South Africa, they have like a curated package for you that is going to give you all the satisfaction, answer all your questions before you even arrive in South Africa. Usually, travel and tourism companies, they already have what you would call research. Everything and everywhere they are going to take you, be rest assured that it is researched very, very well. And the other thing that I also love about travel and tourism companies is that they have relationships and connections with five-star hotels and five-star lodges, five-star restaurants, and five-star experience as a whole. And I believe it is advisable that as an African American intending to visit South Africa, that you make use of their services, because I can tell you most of them are excellent. And the only one that I'm going to speak about that I am convinced in the depths of my soul, my heart, my mind, and my entire being that have done their homework very well. And please, guys, I am not sponsored nor paid by this travel and tourism company that I'm going to mention in this video. The reason why I am mentioning them for free on this particular podcast and podcast video is because of the gratitude I feel in my heart for what they are doing for South Africa. These people, I would say, they contributed a lot in exposing African Americans to South Africa. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about the real South Africa. Brother Mark and Sister Latasha Blanton, you guys are a blessing to South Africa. I believe that you were led to South Africa by a very high power that said, hey, let's give South Africa a torch that we can shine for African Americans in case that they want to come home to visit, to stay, or whatever it is that they want to come and do here in South Africa. That also includes business opportunities. You guys have been people that I will forever be grateful for. And I think the real South Africa is the best travel and tourism company for African Americans to utilize when you want to come to South Africa, because I've seen their packages and I've seen the type of accommodations that they take you guys. That stuff is only a dream to many of us here in South Africa. But you, as an African American, you get that experience in a 5-star hotel, 5-star lodges, 5-star experience for a deal, a very good deal that I think the Blantons have created their magic and their influence in ensuring that you, when you come and book them to bring you to South Africa, you have the time of your life. Those first impression videos that you watch, those are authentic expressions of people who visited the country. And I love hearing their stories. I love hearing how they fell in love with the people of South Africa, including the country. So the reason why I am shouting out the real South Africa is because they have proven to be what you should be using when you come to South Africa. There are other travel and tourism companies that are owned by South Africans as well, that are owned by Black South Africans. Unfortunately, I don't know who they are because, as you guys know, as South Africans, we don't travel. As a matter of fact, when we do travel, we travel within the country. So I don't have to use a travel and tourism company to go to Cape Town. I don't need to use travel and tourism company to go to Kimberley. I don't need to use a travel and tourism company to go to Durban. I know it's my country. And also, when we go out of South Africa, I doubt many South Africans do use travel and tourism companies to go to wherever they are going to into the world. Because maybe I'm wrong. Let me not be confident in what I'm saying regarding travel and tourism companies that are owned by South Africans. Because I think there are travel and tourism companies and travel agencies that will give you a package probably to go to Paris or to London or to New York or whatever the case might be. But I only know and I'm exposed to the real South Africa that is run by Mark and Dr. Latasha Blanton. So those are the people that I feel I can trust for you to bring you to South Africa. However, though, once you have been brought to South Africa by the real South Africa, if you are going to make use of their travel and tourism company, I think the next time you come, maybe you should use them once again. But this time around, you are able to direct them of the itinerary that you want when you return. And when you come for the third time, I think that's when you can start traveling on your own, because now you are familiar with South Africa. You know where to go to, what places to go to. And the other thing that I love about the real South Africa, they guard your safety with jealousy, like jealously guard your safety. And the people that they are going to allocate to you are people that you can trust, people that will give you correct information about South Africa, the people of South Africa, and any other questions that you may have for them. So that is why I feel that I do support the use of travel and tourism companies. I'm not highly familiar with travel agencies. Like I said, we are not a traveling nation here in this country. I'm talking about the Black South Africans. You will find a lot of white South Africans take 6, 7 to 10 trips outside of South Africa in a year. You'll also find other races traveling to other places in the world. But South Africans, Black South Africans, you would find us right here. Whenever we go out down to Durban, or we go down to Cape Town. If we want the bush and we want lusciousness, we go to Limpopo or to Mpumalanga and things of that nature. So those are my thoughts about travel and tourism companies. I know I'm leaving out a very important point, but if I remember the point, I am going to include it in my next podcast about travel and tourism companies. So once again, I just want to say to the Blantons, thank you guys so much for shining a spotlight on South Africa with your amazing services. Much love coming from me. And you are definitely my brother and my sister, and you have proven yourself to be so. So yes, guys, that is it with my thoughts regarding this topic. I think I'm going to close this podcast now on this high note. And if you are traveling to South Africa, I'm going to say this in isiZulu. Basically Zulu, namkelegile ekhaya. So welcome home. That is what I said in Zulu. So yeah, guys, I think this is it. If I left out anything, I will probably fill it in my next podcast. However, my next podcast is going to be about 6 places that I think African Americans can either buy a house, land, or live in South Africa. That is another highly requested video. In the emails that I received about a month and a half ago. Like I said, guys, all the video suggestions or the podcast suggestions are lined up as per requested. I'm not skipping anybody. I will get to your suggestions as well. Please do be patient with me until I come across your suggestion. So another thing that I want to remind you guys is that I do have a PayPal link, which I'm going to leave in the description box. Should you wish to make a donation to me, I am trying to get myself new filming equipment. The ones that I'm currently using, they really are cheap and they're giving me a lot of issues. Also, for me to be able to create these videos as well, I think the donations will go a long way to create even better videos for you on YouTube and a better podcasts as well. So the PayPal link, I'm going to leave it in the description box. And I highly appreciate you. I highly appreciate everybody that has made a donation. I am so sorry once again for the mistakes that I've made. To some of you who've made donations and probably were like, what? I just gave you the money. I'm so sorry. I was learning that whole PayPal thing, how it works. Now I think I know how it works. Trust me, you will not see a request coming from me ever again. That was so embarrassing, honestly speaking. It was so embarrassing. So embarrassing. I felt so bad. I felt like, oh my God, I hope these guys are not going to think that I'm defrauding them. No, it was an honest mistake. I learned from it and it shall never happen again. Anyways, guys, this is it with this video. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Like I said, giving a video a thumbs up helps the channel to be pushed to other people. Also, please consider subscribing if you have not subscribed yet. And once you have subscribed, click the bell notification so that you get notified every time I upload a new video. And another thing that I will also highly appreciate from you is leave me a comment down below. I love hearing from you guys. I love engaging with you guys. I appreciate all of that stuff. Share this video if you're watching on YouTube far and wide. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time with a new podcast video. Goodbye.